The banner outside Greenfield Zoo that morning read, "An evening with Nana, the gorilla who speaks." It had been up for 3 weeks. Every ticket was sold. When people showed up to see Nana talking, they couldn't believe what she said about humans. Keep watching to learn what Nana said that left the masses stunned. Raymond Holt, the zoo's owner, had been preparing for this day for 2 years. Nana had been learning sign language since she was brought to Greenfield at the age of 4, working with trainers 5 days a week. And she had surpassed every expectation. She could hold a conversation. She could answer questions. She could describe things she wanted, things she remembered, things she felt. Raymond had watched other zoo owners struggle for relevance in a world that was slowly turning against the idea of captivity. And he had decided that Nana was his answer. Not just an animal on display, an animal that could talk back. That was the show. He had also, in a move that got him considerable press coverage in the weeks leading up to the event, announced that a portion of the evening's proceeds would go to the Shining Suns deaf community. He had invited their members personally, reserved the front 3 rows for them, and made sure the cameras caught him shaking hands with their coordinator before the show began. It was, by any measure, a good look. The evening started well. The enclosure was set up with a small stage area, a microphone for the translator, and a live feed screen so the back rows could see Nana's hands clearly. The translator, a man named Dr. Ellis who had worked with Nana for 18 months, stood at the edge of the enclosure and began signing to her. Simple questions at first. What is your favorite food? What color is the sky? She answered each one cleanly, her large hands moving with a fluency that drew gasps from the crowd. Raymond stood to the side with his arms folded and the expression of a man who had made a very good investment. Nana was good at this. She had always been good at this. But anyone watching her closely that evening would have noticed that she was slower than usual. Her responses came after longer pauses. She would look at Dr. Ellis, then look out at the crowd, then sign her answer, like she was thinking about something else entirely. About 40 minutes in, Dr. Ellis signed a question from the audience. "What do you think of all these people who came to see you tonight?" Nana looked at the crowd for a moment. Then she looked at Dr. Ellis. Then she said nothing. The crowd murmured. Dr. Ellis signed the question again, slower. Nana watched his hands and looked away. Behind the enclosure, out of the main sightline of the audience but visible to the front rows, a handler appeared at the bars holding a bunch of bananas. Nana's head turned. She looked at the bananas for a long moment, the way she always did. And then she looked away and sat down on the floor of the enclosure with her back very straight. The crowd laughed softly, the way crowds laugh when they are slightly uncomfortable and need somewhere to put it. Raymond smiled at the nearest camera and said into his lapel mic, "Even our star has off days." More laughter. Then Nana started signing, not in response to anything Dr. Ellis had asked, not prompted by anyone. She just raised her hands and began, slowly and clearly, looking directly at the audience in front of her. Dr. Ellis watched her hands. His expression did not change immediately. It changed the way ice cracks, starting somewhere small and then spreading fast. In the front rows, the members of the Shining Suns community were already reacting. A woman in the second row brought both hands to her mouth. The man beside her grabbed his wife's arm. A young man in the front row just sat very still with his eyes fixed on Nana's hands. And then he closed his eyes for a moment, and when he opened them, they were wet. The hearing members of the audience noticed the reaction spreading through the front rows and started looking around, confused, tapping each other, asking what was happening. What was she saying? Dr. Ellis had not spoken. He was still watching Nana's hands. and he had gone very quiet in the particular way of someone who is hoping that if they stay still enough, a moment will pass without requiring anything of them. It did not pass. Nana kept signing. The same sentences, slow and deliberate, as if she wanted to make sure every single person in those front rows understood every word. Raymond had stopped smiling. He was looking at Dr. Ellis with an expression that was trying very hard to look like patience, and was not quite managing it. "Ellis," he said quietly into the earpiece. "Translate." Dr. Ellis straightened up. He looked at Raymond. He looked at the crowd. He looked at Nana, who had stopped signing now and was sitting quietly with her hands in her lap, watching him with her large, dark eyes. He opened his mouth. He closed it. In the front row, the young man who had closed his eyes stood up. He was not a large person, and he did not raise his voice, but the crowd was quiet enough that everyone heard him clearly when he turned to the people around him and said, in a steady voice, "She said, 'I am tired. I do not like it here. I miss my trees. I miss my family. You took me from my home. I want to go home. You humans are very unkind to me.'" Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. Nana sat in the middle of her enclosure and looked out at the crowd of people who had paid money to spend an evening with her. And the crowd looked back at her, and for a long moment, nobody seemed to know what to do with the silence, or themselves. Raymond Holt said something into his lapel mic. The cameras were still rolling. He seemed to realize this and stopped talking. There is a video of that moment that has been watched millions of times since that evening. It is not the footage of Nana signing, though that footage exists too. It is a wide shot of the audience taken from one of the side cameras. All those faces in the moment after the young man finished speaking, lit up by the enclosure lights, looking at a gorilla who had just told them exactly how she felt about being there. Some people are crying. Some are staring at the floor. A few are already standing up to leave, not in anger, just with the quiet urgency of people who need to be somewhere else. Raymond Holt announced a full review of Nana's living conditions the following week. The Shining Suns community released a statement 2 days after the event. They returned the donation. Nana is still at Greenfield Zoo. The shows have stopped. She still knows sign language. The trainers still visit her, still sign with her. She still responds sometimes. But she has not, in any session recorded since that evening, signed those 6 sentences again. She did not need to. She had already said it once, clearly, to a room full of people who understood her perfectly, and still didn't do anything for her.